I'm Derek Young here at the Sprint Center with Matt Hall, K-State Online, for Big 12 Basketball Media Days. And one of the more important storylines, Matt, for Kansas State today was probably just the overall, increased buzz around the program.
No doubt about it. This feels good on this side. You're already doing a better job than I am running this thing. But that was the biggest thing that I noticed, of course, is throughout the day, virtually all the media was around either Kansas State or Kansas. At any given time, the rest of the schools could be added together and wouldn't have as much. I know you were here last year. I wasn't, so a completely different feel, I'm sure, and then completely different from Big 12 football media days. So, yeah, it's unique to see K-State in the spotlight today, but they certainly have been. I would even guess, Derek, that even the national part, I guess, at the podium or the big part, there were probably more questions asked about K-State than any other school at that point.
Yeah, from a general perspective, K-State and KU dominated today. I was at Big 12 Basketball Media Day here last year. It was the same three players for Kansas State. And I even asked Barry and Cam and Dean how much different it felt because they were at that same table today, and there was a lot more people at their table today than there was a year ago. Some more chatter today was about Mike McGurl,
yeah.
Obviously one of the up-and-coming players for Kansas State, broke out here at the Sprint Center during the Big 12 tournament. The players really spoke praises on him, as did head coach Bruce Weber.
You're right. All three guys, I think, called him either the most improved player or whatever term you want to use when you saw all three guys, Barry, Dean, and Cam. Bruce Weber talked about how he was the biggest surprise last year for K-State, so he's not shocked this year how he's come along, but he is absolutely pushing for playing time. It's a situation where, yeah, they have all five starters back and a lot of returning experience, but Mike McGurl is somebody who maybe more than anybody else will have a chance to push for more time this year than he did a year ago.
Kind of putting you on the spot,
Good.
We heard a lot of praise about McGurl, but there's also Cartier Jara, Sean Neal Williams, Barry Brown, Kamal Stokes. How are they going to divide up some of the minutes here at the guard position?
That is the real question, and I don't know if I want to go as far as saying it's a concern because it's a good problem to have, but there is a question about it. We talked with Coach today some about who he'd use as his starting five, and he didn't give the answer, but he hinted a little bit. That will be the challenge, but I think with the 1, 2, and 3 positions at K-State, they can be interchangeable enough that they can find minutes for all of those guys. But if there will be a problem that pops up this year that's not injury related or something like that, it could be managing those guys' minutes at those few spots.
Yeah, Bruce Weber, I think you asked him about his starting five and what would it be today if he had to choose, and he said they're having those arguments in the coaching offices right now, but he would ultimately win because he is the head coach. I think we all have our druthers or at least opinions about what we think the starting five will look like. What do you think or an impression you get so far?
And it's probably unfair. I'm probably putting words into his mouth, but he did say for a second, you'll probably see it in the video from Flanders, that he kind of defaults to the seniors in this situation. If all things are equal, of course, he's not going to start a senior just to start him. But with that said, it made me think that Cam Stokes will probably be the starter at point guard. I think, as we've talked about, there's probably a little bit of competition between McCall Mawayne and even Austin Trice for the other starter. But again, when it's close, Bruce will probably go with seniority. So if I'm guessing right now, and I think what he would have told us would have been Cam, Barry, X, Dean, and McCall Mawayne as the 5 starters for K-State, at least to start the season for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least to start the season, I would expect the same 5
right.
what we saw this time, same time a year ago. I do think that there is a chance, maybe even more of one, that maybe Austin Trice is the one that sneaks into the lineup,
right.
but we probably won't see that until much later. Another topic of conversation, of course, today was about the FBI hearing, and I think a verdict just actually came in on that trial.
You broke that news to me.
Yeah, right. I guess what is the overall impression you get from today and what you've heard from every head coach, as it concerns to that?
It's interesting. I'm fighting my words a little bit because I'll just say it. I'm not going to name names, but I think there were some coaches who were very concerned with it and what it's doing to the game of basketball. And there are some coaches here who didn't seem concerned with it as much and thought it wasn't as big of an issue as it's being made out to be. And some people would draw the line between those coaches and the other ones is who they kind of guessed would have said these things. So I think that's interesting because no one likes it. No one's saying it's a good deal, but there is a varying level of concern about it from one coach to the next. And I think Bruce Weber's looked at as a guy here who's probably perceived to be the cleanest, for lack of a better term. And not that there's other coaches who aren't, but I think it's just his reputation. So he got a ton of questions about it today. I would guess more than anybody else. And I think he handled it really, really well and didn't throw shade at any schools. But it was unique for me to see the different levels of concern from one coach to another about this investigation.
And Bruce Weber even went back to his days at Illinois to
right.
kind of, just show examples of, what's going on in college basketball. And he still has deep concerns about it, and he's not really ashamed to talk about it. Really good day here in Kansas City at the Sprint Center. We have a ton more content coming up, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoot, we've already got, I think, a running diary, a photo gallery, a Weber video, Weber transcript, a Derek Young video. There'll be a notebook, all sorts of stuff. So we appreciate your guys' time on the site, and hopefully we have 10 things from this for you to read and watch and listen to and all sorts of stuff.
And I'm sure we will, but the next time you see us on camera, we'll probably be in Norman, Oklahoma for a football game on Saturday. So until then,
tell your friends.